Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol, the place where we discuss all things USMNT y la selección mexicana. My name is Adrian. I'm joined once again by my co-host and Tocayo, Adrian. Adrian, what's going on, man? How are you? Still celebrating?
Do you tell me, man? It's been a wonderful Memorial Day weekend for all of us Tigres fan out there. I just can't explain it, dude. I got something that I wasn't expecting, and I'm just here for it.
Yeah, after that regular season, none of us were. We said it every round in our preview. Tigres going to get out. They're going to go out. But they stepped it up when it mattered, and, we'll go into that. But, yeah, man, great Memorial Day weekend for us Tigres fans for sure, man. So, Adrian, let's just dive right into it, man. We've kind of, whoever's been following us the last couple of weeks have known that we have been doing our Liga MX liguilla reactions and previews. So this week, like we said, was the final. It was Chivas de Guadalajara versus Tigres over two legs. Tigres ultimately ended up winning 3-2 on aggregate. So let's start off with the first leg of this fixture, man. What would you say about this first leg? Wasn't really anything special, was it?
No, man. I think I think this is a case for Liga MX. I don't really like the liguilla format, but if we can make a change to it, I think this is a case for just to tell Doña Fede, hey man, you know what? Just do a one leg final. There's no need to have two leg finals in here, because man, that first match was boring as hell. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was a drag to watch. It was difficult to, you know, be posted up 90 minutes in front of the TV watching how Chivas just decided to essentially park the bus and try not to get to go home with a goal against, which and Tigres wasn't sharp on the front anyways. So it was very, 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 very painful to watch.
I think, from that first game, we were kind of expecting, based on what we had seen this season, especially the Liguilla, Chivas was a lot more ruthless away from home, and Tigres was
Yeah.
a lot more ruthless at home. So we were thinking it was going to be like a shootout, man, like 2-2, a high scoring game. But it was anything but that. It was the complete opposite of that, and it ended up being, just a drag, 0-0 first leg. Like you said, Tigres pretty
Yeah.
much dominated. It
Hmm.
was the better team, I'd say. Chivas was just there to park the bus, but there wasn't really any chances really that I remember that stand out to me. They're like, oh man, Tigres maybe could have scored there. I mean, it was just I mean, credit to Chivas, I guess they were able to defend well. But yeah, I mean, it was. I do not remember anything about that match at all. I mean, just to put it that
Dude,
way.
it was like 14 shots from Tigres, just one on target. More than 50% of the possession was on Tigres. I mean, Chivas knew what they were, what was their game plan, and the game plan was, I'm going to show up to a Volcan and just essentially defend as my life depends on it, and if I can, have a break on a counter attack and score, I'll take it. But objective number one was keep the zero on your goal, and let's play for the glory in Guadalajara.
Right, and what a match that was in Guadalajara. I mean, that second leg was a complete opposite of what we witnessed in the first leg, and I'm here.
Uh-huh.
We're here for it, man. What would you say? And I was going to tell you, give me your reactions to the match, but I want to hear your reactions to each half because they were completely different halves. Um, so the first half was, I'd say, a Tigres that we saw in the regular season. Very inconsistent, very poor
Yeah.
defensively, very very poor going forward. While we saw Chivas that was the Chivas we had been seeing in the Liguilla. Ruthless. They were making great connecting passes. They were splitting the defense. What changed between game one and game two for Tigres and Chivas there for that first half performance? Do you think?
I mean, I think they both realized that this is this is last game. We got to go out and we got to make it happen. I have the feeling that at least for the very first 20 minutes, Tigres was dominating the match. But as soon as Chivas scored that first goal, I think as you just mentioned, we started to get flashbacks of the Tigres of regular season, right? Very inconsistent, not unable to link passes in a consistent fashion, struggling defensively speaking. I think the lack of Jesus Angulo in the back was also a big weakness for Tigres in the very first half. As you can see, Alexis Vegas and El Piojo Alvarado just tearing off the wings like nothing was in front of them. Uh, then you have, I'm not gonna say that Chivas wasn't playing well. I think they knew, they knew what was the game plan. Game plan was, let's try to finish this as quick as possible. If we only have two breaks, that's pretty much gonna be it. And the name of the game is gonna be contundencia. So I think they worked for it, man. I mean, that both goals were actually pretty well built up. I think the first one maybe lacked the, I guess, the link play in any way. I think it was more of a, Piojo Alvarado saw that it was his only chance to make something happen, and then he took the shot, and it was a very good shot. I mean, it was unfortunately unreachable for Nahuel Guzman, but after that, we just, I personally was, pissed off, and I was like, man, this is, screw this. I've seen this match before. We're not gonna be able to come back. Tigres is not gonna be able to bounce back, and I just felt that they didn't have it, and the first half was just a living testament of what Tigres was for the regular season. Having 20 minutes of decent play, and then for the next 25, just complete trash.
Yeah, so I mean, if Paunovic outcoached Siboldi there in the first half, what changes do you think Siboldi made to be able to kind of recover? Because that second half was a completely different story.
I know. So I'm waiting to see, the video of Siboldi yelling at the guys in the dressing room, doing some motivational speech or whatever. But I think Siboldi's game plan was pretty clear since the very beginning of Liguilla. He was like, "All right, we're here to do something, and I'm just gonna wait until the very last minute to throw everything that I have and pray that something sticks to the wall." And I think that's what worked with Toluca on the first half or first leg. It worked with Monterrey on the second leg, and it also worked on this final second leg of Liga MX. So I just have the feeling that Siboldi went out there and was like, "All right, I gotta make some changes. I have to risk it, right? There's nothing else that I can do. If I'm gonna die, I better die of something rather than just being stagnant and do anything about it." And he went in. He went all in, man. He threw offensive changes. He didn't left anything to interpretation. He was just like, hey, I'm just gonna put everything that I have on the field. And he knew that he was gonna get just like the game with Monterrey. He knew that by throwing all of his attacking power on the pitch, he was gonna suffer on the back. Um, so it paid off. I think I'm not gonna say something bad about Siboldi, saying like, "Hey, he just threw a hail mary and it worked out," because I know that his assistant coaches are very well prepared. They do a lot of like video review before the match, and they do actually work on the strategy of the game or the match. But I'm not too sure if this is a stroke of luck from Siboldi or just a genius moment that he had.
I want to say it's luck because he did it three times in a row: Toluca, Monterrey, Guadalajara. The same exact, throw everything you got at the end, right? Last 60 minutes. But to be fair to Chivas, not to take away anything from Siboldi, but you really can't compare benches there.
Yeah.
The Tigres bench, Nico Ibanez, El Diente Lopez, etc. They all would start for like pretty much any other Liga MX team.
Hmm.
And he has those at his disposal. If freaking El Factor Linus is playing bad, he'll just take him out, replace him with someone as good or even better. So, that definitely helps having one of the most expensive planteles, squads in Liga MX, and having such, great footballers on your team.
Yeah.
Do you think Siboldi did enough to, if it was discussed before the Liga that it was not guaranteed, regardless of what happens in the Liga,
Yeah.
that he would continue as head coach? Do you think he did enough? What else could he have done?
I mean, I don't think we can ask for more, given that we just gave him him, and you have a month and a half, maybe, to coach the team, and we'll see. If I'm not mistaken, I heard and I read somewhere that they're gonna, if they haven't made it official, I haven't looked on Tigres social media or any official um, channel from the team, but I think they're going to offer him a extension of 2 years. I think, um, which I personally don't like. I don't think Siboldi is the right coach for Tigres, especially if they're thinking of a long term project. I don't think Siboldi is a long term project coach. I also feel that um, he just he is a lucky coach in the sense that he did the same thing with Santos. He joined Santos, I think, in the middle of the season where Santos was, struggling to make something out of themselves. They managed to go into Liguilla, and he wins that championship. Same thing with Tigres right now. He picks up the team at a very bad spot, and he just manages to take him all the way to the final. So um, if he's gonna stay, I think. I mean, I don't think there's any other better option in Liga MX that is available right now. I don't think that Chambly is going to leave Toluca. Tan Ortiz just got hired by Monterrey, and I wouldn't necessarily hire any other coach from Liga MX, maybe with the exception of Jardiner from San Luis, but or Larcamon from León, but I don't think Larcamon is leaving León anytime soon. So it's a tough one for me, man. I'm split. I'm not too sure if I don't think it's the right. I personally don't think it's the right decision, but at the same time, I also understand that um, they're trying to go with someone who has the presence to manage a team of stars, and that also knows Liga MX, right? That is, in addition to that, he identifies with Tigres. He was a Tigres player. He was part of that team that got relegated back in the 90s. He was
Mhm.
also part of the team that stood and made a comeback to Liga MX first flight, top flight, sorry, in less than a year after getting relegated. So I think he understands what it means to be, a Tigres player and a Tigres fan. I just don't feel he's um, the right choice for Tigres right now.
Yeah, the only 2 year contract. I was looking up while you were talking, and I don't see anything made official yet. So we'll see as soon as it becomes official the duration, and
Hmm.
if in fact that does become a reality there. But like you said, I mean, there's no one else available, and he's a fan favorite. I mean, I'd say the fans like him for his history, and
Yeah,
now that he's won the title. So I mean, even if he has a shitty next season or two, like it'll give Tigres a chance to find somebody, right? I mean, he
I
kind of
mean,
bought himself time.
no, I totally agree. Like he bought himself some time. What worries me is that yes, Tigres won the championship. They had a good display for the last, I don't know, 4 out of the 6 games in Liguilla. But I just feel that I'm concerned this will overshadow the real problems that Tigres has, which is an aging squad, right? Even though, yes, they have proven to have experience, and yes, they come in clutch whenever you need them, but it's also a reality that they struggle throughout the entire season. So I just, that's my biggest concern is I hope that this campeonato doesn't make Mauricio Culebro and the likes of Antonio Sancho think or reshape their entire direction, right? Because before all of this happened, they were talking about bringing in an European coach. Like, they were having, they were naming people like Julian Lopetegui and Nuno Espirito Santo, right? So I just expect, I hope, and I really wish that Mauricio Culebro doesn't get, he doesn't make a decision on the high of the moment, right? And and that's the whole reason why I think Siboldi is not he's not a long term project coach. I think he's okay for maybe the next year, right? While they do their scouting, while they do their search for the next 5 year kind of deal coach for Tigres, and then while they're still figuring out the restructuring of the team, right? Because it is a reality that Tigres need a generational change, but it's happening right now. They have brought players like uh, Jesus Angulo, which he's like 26 years old. Sebastian Cordova, the CEO of SEX, right? They have Diego Lainez on the team. They have El Toro Garza playing left back. They brought Igor Linovsky. They also brought Samir. So the team is getting is getting a facelift. It's getting players that are underneath that 28-year-old mark, and it's complementing those. I guess the old guard players like Pizarro, Gignac, and Aquino. So they have a gracious exit from the team or retirement. But that's my biggest concern, man.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, like I mentioned earlier that this championship bought him time, Ciboli, but it bought time for the
Hmm.
directivos as well. They don't have to go on and spend crazy
Yeah,
cash this summer. They don't have to go on and rush to hire a coach. Um, they'll be like, all right, we managed to bring in a title, give us some time to restructure, get us some time to. It does not have to happen this summer now. Because if
yeah,
we had lost to Monterrey, it would have been a crazy cluster of a summer. You know it.
yeah,
Um,
man.
so it's
Completely
crazy how
different scenario.
exactly. Um, what do you think of the old guard, Gignac, Pizarro, Nahuel Guzman? Is this the perfect swan song to them? Are they, is it officially over?
I think this is the perfect last dance. I don't think they're gonna uh, release any of these players. At least not Pizarro, Gignac, Aquino, Julian Quiñones, or Nahuel Guzman. They're probably releasing Carioca just because of his age, and they haven't made an agreement on if he's gonna sign an extension deal or not, because he wants 3 years and Tigres only has a policy right now that it only offers a year plus an additional 1 year based on performance to all players that are 32 and above,
Hmm.
which I think it's a right choice. I think it's a good move for any
We're
team
seeing more and more
whatsoever.
clubs implement something like that.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? I mean, if you wanna keep on playing with us, show that you're worth it. Um, but yeah, I think going back to your question, yes, I think this is the best last dance that they can have. I don't anticipate this, happening again. I don't think anyone was expecting Tigres to show up to Liguilla and take it all, take it home. I sure wasn't, for
Right.
once. And even though people keep on telling me that I'm throwing my Kavala out there, which it worked. I'm just gonna keep on doing it, but I really wasn't expecting Tigres to go beyond quarterfinals. To be perfectly clear with you, I mean, you can go back to the previous episodes, and I was perfectly, completely honest, saying, "Hey, I just don't see how Tigres is gonna make it past Toluca or past Monterrey." It was a tough challenge, but I
Right.
mean, I think the all guards has shown once again that it doesn't really matter, you know, if you play with a crane or with a freaking baston or not. Um, they still have it in them.
Yeah, the experience pulled through, man. Um, so one last question I want to kind of ask you here: Is Tigres officially el quinto grande, the fifth
I
big
mean, come on,
team
man. There's
of Liga MX?
Yes. I mean, if there's anyone out there thinking that they don't deserve that motto of El Quinto Grande in Liga MX, I think they're just completely ignoring the fact that Tigres is a team that has history, albeit it might not be one of the most or one of the oldest teams in Liga MX. I think they have maybe like 60 years, if anything, of history as Tigres, because they started as Jabatos back in the, I'm gonna say, like 60s or 70s. Um, but Tigres has history, right? I mean, they have a kind of a roller coaster history when from their inception. Within like 3 years of their inception as Tigres, they won a championship. They were the first champion of Nuevo León. Even after Monterrey have been playing in Liga MX for like, I don't know, more than 10 years, Tigres showed up and they won their first championship for the state. And they also they got relegated, right? They have won multiple championships against big teams like America, Chivas, Pumas. They even won against Atlante, which when Atlante was a big team back in the freaking 70s and 80s. So I think it's just dumb to think that Tigres doesn't deserve the the nickname or the motto of El Quinto Grande. They had the same. number of championships as Pumas, which is considered, one of the four big teams in Mexico. We are like I think Tigres is like a one championship away from Cruz Azul, which is another big team in Mexico, and then the the top ones are Chivas and America with 13 and 12 respectively. So again, I mean, look, Tigres is a big team in Mexico. There's no doubt about it, and whoever thinks otherwise, they can keep on sucking it.
This guy. All right, man. Well, with that, Tigres officially wins their eighth star. Going to be in Monterrey in a week or two to hopefully they have those new jerseys out so I can pick one up
Go
and see
for it,
it
man.
star.
Get you one.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, a crazy weekend, a crazy liguilla, man. Like you said, we we prefer the European way of the best team winning it at the end of the season. But man, there's something about liguilla that you gotta love. Just the craziness to it. Um, so this was
It's
just
fun to
another
watch.
crazy one. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, well, definitely everybody that was sticking with us through the preview episodes and the reaction episodes of the Liga. We hope you enjoyed it. We're definitely going to pursue or continue that for the next seasons going forward. We had a lot of fun recording these episodes and reacting to them. And yeah, we'll wait for Liga MX to begin again in a couple months. Always exciting. Adrian, before we take off, man, where can our listeners find us?
Dude, they can find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts on. Last but not least, you should also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Puro Pinche Gol. We post stuff every now and then.
Yeah, for sure. And make sure you guys leave a comment below. We love reading y'all's comments and reacting and commenting to them. Did you guys expect to get us to go all the way and win the title, or was one of your team's favorite? Were you guys thinking Chivas were going to take it? I definitely like to listen from you guys. And let us know, is Tigres officially El Quinto Grande? Definitely want to hear from you guys. So, Adrian, another good episode here, man. I'll see you in the next one, brother.
Take it easy, bro.
See you, man.